So the ANC has recently said that it wants its members to stop chanting "Kill the Boer, kill the farmer," because apparently there is no place for chants like that in the new South Africa.
As the ANC, we sang that song, but no member of the ANC today will be allowed to sing "Kill the Boer." Simple as that. Even if the Constitutional Court said you can sing, why should we sing "Kill the Boer" in a democratic dispensation?
Now, these remarks are quite significant, and a few things have to be said about this. Firstly, this is not the first time that the ANC has said this. In fact, it was part of the settlement agreement between AfriForum, the ANC, and Julius Malema back in 2011 that chants such as Dubula Ibunu, which means shoot the Boer, and chants such as kill the Boer, kill the farmer, should not be chanted. Back in 2011 already, the ANC has publicly said that it doesn't want its members to chant this. Now, for the leadership to say that the members shouldn't do this, and for the members to in fact not do this, is two different things. The question then is, what would the ANC do if its members continue to chant "Kill the Boer, kill the farmer"? Because to date, we are not aware of any action that has been taken against any ANC member that has chanted this over the last decade or so. Secondly, it is still an indication that the ANC has the capacity to bow under public pressure. The ANC has suffered severe international scrutiny over the last few months as a result of chants such as "Kill the Boer, kill the farmer," and other crises in South Africa. The farm killings, the attempt to expropriate private property without compensation, the race laws, and so forth. And the fact that the ANC has now come out to take such a strong stance on this matter is good news. It does indicate that the ANC can make certain concessions when it suffers severe scrutiny. The question is then if it would be willing to make some other concessions, such as ensuring that property rights would be protected, that racial discrimination would come to an end, and so forth. Further than that, it is quite significant that the ANC is taking this position just shortly after several very senior members of the party, including even the former president, Thabo Mbeki, have publicly and enthusiastically defended the "Kill the Boer" chant.
It's unchanged. I mean, that thing is a chant. It's a chant. It was a chant during the days of struggle. And chants of that kind in our tradition, in the African tradition, you don't take it literally.
So if we were to read these statements as a whole, we might conclude that even though the ANC regards the chanting of "Kill the Boer, kill the farmer" as harmless and perfectly acceptable, it does want its members to stop doing so, which is quite interesting. In other news in South Africa, the celebrity and politician Kenny Kunene was found by a high court to have committed hate speech when he called Julius Malema, leader of the economic freedom fighters, a cockroach. This was welcomed by Julius Malema, who said the following.
Politicians must always act with restraint. They hear us speak a lot and they think that in the process we are swearing at people. But when you sit down to listen properly, you realize that we don't use such words. We use words within the laws of South Africa.
Now, it's very interesting to listen to the words that Malema chooses. He welcomes the fact that a court has ruled that when someone calls him a cockroach, that is hate speech. He then goes on to say that politicians have to be careful in choosing what they say, and that he and his party will continue to express themselves within the ambit of the law. Now, Malema himself has become world famous for his continued chanting of "Kill the Boer, kill the farmer," and his statements that he would never stop doing so. And in fact, the Constitutional Court in South Africa has recently ruled that it is not hate speech to chant "Kill the Boer, kill the farmer." In other words, that when he does it, it is within the ambit of the law. Now, it is quite remarkable that according to the South African justice system, calling Julius Malema a cockroach is hate speech, but when Julius Malema chants about exterminating the white minority, it is not hate speech, it is protected speech. Not just has the Constitutional Court ruled that chanting "Kill the Boer, kill the farmer" is hate speech, in 2019 the South African Human Rights Commission was approached after Julius Malema publicly said that he is not calling for the slaughter of white people at least for now. In other words, that he might one day call for the slaughter of white people. In its ruling, the South African Human Rights Commission found that when someone is accused of hate speech in South Africa, it is very important to consider the race of the person that has been accused. And in Malema's case, the race is of course black. The commission then found that Malema did not commit hate speech, that he was engaging in protected speech because of the fact that he is black. In other words, that if someone that isn't black said those words, it might just as well have been hate speech. This indicates to us that there is severe discrimination and double standards in the South African justice system. Now, can we say that if a court says it isn't hate speech, or it is protected speech to chant about the extermination of a particular ethnic minority, that it is indeed acceptable? No, because courts can be wrong. And if a court is wrong, we should point that out. This is why at Lex Libertas we say that the fundamental problem that we experience in South Africa is not just double standards in the legal system, it's not just race discrimination according to the law or attempts by the government to expropriate private property. It is a fundamental flaw in the political system, and it is necessary for a more sustainable South Africa to ensure that we have a decentralized political system so that the various communities or nations or peoples that live in South Africa have much higher levels of autonomy to govern their own affairs. That is, as far as we are concerned, the only sustainable way forward. A political system that is decentralized so that people have a much higher say over their own affairs. On that basis, we can cooperate with each other on the basis of mutual respect. And this is also why working towards a more sustainable political dispensation in South Africa will remain the core focus of Lex Libertas. En route to this destination, it is important to point out double standards in the justice system, and it is important to continue to put public pressure and international pressure on the South African government, as has been happening over the last few months with regard to Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer.